How do you know which container solution on Azure to use? That's exactly what we're going to figure out in this video, so let's get started. Hi everyone, I'm Lionel, your MCT and MVP. This video is part of our AKS operations playlist. Today, I'm making this video because my clients often ask me which container service on Azure they should use, and the short answer for that is it depends. It depends on the complexity of your application, it depends on the level of customizations you need, the scalability requirements, the budget, or the skill level of your team. So with so many options available, it can be confusing to know which one is right for your specific needs. Let's start with Azure Functions. It's a managed function as a service solution optimized for running event-driven applications. So it's tailored for ephemeral functions, deployed as either code or containers, and can be integrated with multiple Azure components. So use cases could be sending emails, a scheduled task like a backup or database cleanup, or even file or data processing. Then we have Azure App Service, which provides fully managed hosting for web applications, including websites and web APIs. It's integrated with other Azure services, making it an ideal option when building web apps. So you don't have to be an expert on containers, but it can be a good start as you can deploy your application using code or containers. Then we have ACI, which offers an easy way to deploy a single or multiple containers to a container group in Azure. So it's as simple as grabbing your image from a registry and creating your container. You can run it publicly or privately, but however, it doesn't support assigning a static IP address. So ACI is very useful for scenarios that require separate containers without orchestration. So think about simple applications, task automation, and CI/CD pipelines, for instance. It's also a good service for cost optimization because it stops charging once the job is finished. However, ACI is not ideal for services that need to run 24/7 or for scaling as it lacks built-in orchestrations. Now we have Azure Container Apps, or ACA. It's a serverless container service built on top of AKS. So it leverages its best practices and features. You don't need to manage the underlying infrastructure, so it makes it great if you're a fan of containers and stateless microservices on Linux without needing to know Kubernetes. Yes, it doesn't support Windows containers yet. It supports revisions, which are like immutable snapshots, and you can route HTTP traffic based on these revisions and run them concurrently. It also provides scaling with KIDA, ingress control, custom domains, and certificate management. It's perfect for microservices, event-driven processing applications, and it's also a great option for web applications, public API endpoints, or background processing. Finally, Dapper, for distributed application runtime, can be integrated with ACA to provide additional capabilities for building cloud-native applications. So indeed, it helps you codify the best practices for building microservices applications. And one last thing, you can also run Azure Functions in ACA. So the main advantages of doing so is that the network isolation is simplified and you can benefit from components we just discussed. Don't worry, we'll dive deeper into ACA in upcoming videos, but know that it's a great service if you want the most important features of AKS without having to manage the full cluster. Azure Red Hat OpenShift, or Arrow, is a Kubernetes-powered OpenShift service jointly engineered and supported by Red Hat and Microsoft. So it's ideal if your team is already using OpenShift on premises and you need to migrate to the cloud to leverage other Azure services. It's more than just a Kubernetes cluster, it's a complete platform where you will be in charge of the following: your data, your application and the developer services. And we can see that on this responsibility model, you share responsibilities with Red Hat and Microsoft, like networking and logging, but as you can see, many things are completely managed by them. So it will probably be expensive, but you won't have to spend hours patching and upgrading your clusters. Another option, AKS, which is a Kubernetes service running on Azure. It offers full access to the Kubernetes API for maximum flexibility, so you can customize your cluster and manage different types of node pools for various workloads. It integrates well with other Azure services and offers robust monitoring tools like Container Insights or Manage Prometheus and Grafana. So while it offers great flexibility, it can be complex if you're not experienced with Kubernetes. Indeed, you will be in charge of almost everything, so security, upgrades, nodes management, storage, network, and so on. So if you are interested in improving your skills, check out my playlist, somewhere displayed on the screen, on AKS for beginners. And finally, we have AKS Automatic, which simplifies the AKS experience. Indeed, with this service, Azure manages your cluster setup, scaling and security, and pre-configured settings like the network. So it makes it production ready by default. So if you want to have an AKS production ready cluster quickly, that's definitely a great option. And if you want to have all the details about AKS Automatic, I invite you to check my last video about it. So now, I guess you have a better understanding of each service, but I want you to ask yourself these questions before even choosing. What is the maturity level of your team? It's important. What is your budget, of course? How complex is your application? If you have a simple application, maybe ACI is enough. And what do you want to be in charge of? It's really important to ask you that. And then you can follow the following rules to choose. So if you need a function as a service for an event-driven workload with short-lived processes, I would go for Azure Functions. If you are new to containers and need to manage paths for web hosting, then Azure App Service is the way to go. And if you need a containerization service without orchestration and advanced features like ingress or certificates or custom domains, you can go and choose ACI. If you need orchestration for your containers and your team doesn't master Kubernetes yet, head towards ACI. And finally, if you need an Azure service that offers access to the Kubernetes API, you have a few options. If you want a complete, supported and maintained platform, maybe Azure Red Hat OpenShift is a great option. And if you have a high level of Kubernetes expertise and want to build your own platform, go for AKS. If you need a production-ready AKS cluster quickly, AKS Automatic may be the best solution. If you have any questions, if you still struggle to know which one you should choose, please comment this video and I will do my best to help you. I have a lot of ideas for the upcoming videos, so don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for your support and see you next week. Hey, thank you so much for dropping by my channel today. Here are some other videos that may interest you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to be informed of the weekly updates. Let's keep growing a fantastic learning community together. My goal is to assist as many people as possible on their cloud and DevOps learning journey. That's it, take care and see you next time.